Okay, so here we are live once again with another Masters Universe Origins unboxing, and this is the Turtles of Grayskull Clamp Champ, Master of Capturing Snakes. Shouldn't it say Heroic Master of Capturing Snakes? I'm just throwing it out there. You can see it's got the typical trade dress for Turtles of Grayskull once they got into the Snake Men aspect of the line. And you know what my theory is about the Snake Men? The Snake Men are cursed and often herald the end of a Masters of the Universe line. And Turtles of Grayskull was not an exception to this rule. It ended right with the introduction of the Snake Men into it. Blue White Mario is here and says, "Yo, what up, Alan? What up yourself? Hope you're doing well today." Yeah, so here's a nice piece of artwork on the back with Clamp Champ battling some foot ninjas. And of course, we've seen this design for the foot ninja before. The Snake Men foot ninjas. That's the one that you can make with the King Hiss figure. He's supposed to be in a foot soldier disguise, but you could also army build the foot ninja, you know, make your own army of foot soldiers like so. And also Ninjor, who is a character who is very often connected with Clamp Champ. So they came out in the same wave and were introduced in a lot of the same comic books. So they oftentimes combine together. Blue Mario says, "How you doing today, Alan? So Valentine's Day is coming, but I brought my puppy a Valentine's Day. Aw, a Valentine's Day dress. Well, I'm sure it's adorable." So I got this at Ross, as you can plainly see, for $12.99. Ran across him and Ninjor as well. So I have the Turtles of Grayskull Ninjor, and I've got a couple of the deluxe figures to open up in addition to these two basic figures. So if we look at the cross-sell artwork on the back, we see the other two figures in the wave are Leonardo and Michelangelo, neither of which I have. I might pick them up if I see them for cheap, but I kind of feel like I've already got both all four of the Ninja Turtles covered as far as the Eternia versions go. I don't really need the specific snake hunting versions, even though the Raphael that I have is the snake hunting Raphael, and that was the better Raphael figure. I'm just throwing that out there. It says, "Armed with his modified Techno Clamp, the heroic Clamp Champ is ready to hunt down the Snake Men." And this little blurb down here, "Reptile Wars," and then it says, "The Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles scour Eternia for Shredder, but find themselves in the middle of King Hiss's plot to make the Snake Men the most powerful force in the universe." So Shredder and Skeletor, huh? Yeah. Well, that'll be another figure I got coming up, won't it? Yeah. How about that? So he's like almost completely opened already. You can see this. This is how I bought him. I guess they didn't use very good glue to hold this package together, because if you look, see, it's barely, there's like a little slight edge of purple, like right about where my fingertip is. But that looks like it's about the only place where the glue took. Let's just go and pull the rest of the package off. But you can see here, see like the little faint white lines? That's where glue actually hit this package. So the rest of it just didn't want to stay on there at all. And then we got Clamp Champ out of the package. So I'm going to say this. I think this might be an improvement over the original Clamp Champ figure, if for no other reason than he actually has his own costume now. If you remember the old days, oh, there's no comic book in here. The comic book fell out, like because it wasn't packed in there right. I just realized that. Well, hopefully Ninjor still got his comic, and we can read that on the next episode. So let me go ahead and snip these off. So the wave that Clamp Champ was introduced in was supposed to be kind of like a wave that was, how do I put this? They was trying to be cheap with that wave and just trying to kind of rush out some figures to fill a spot. And they didn't want to necessarily put a whole lot of money into it. So pretty much every figure is like a figure that has minimal new molds for their parts. Is there still a rubber tab around here somewhere? No, it's just stuck underneath his forearm armor. So that meant like most of these were characters that had new heads, and that was about it. I think the Sorceress was like a brand new sculpt. I think she was in that wave. But most of the other figures in the wave were, King Randor used Jitsu's armor, and he had the spear from Castle Grayskull. So all he had for new parts was a head, and then he had a soft goods cape. Scareglow had a new head and a soft goods cape, and he had the halberd from Castle Grayskull. Ninjor had a bow and arrow and nunchucks and a new head and a soft goods gi and hood, and then he reused the sword that came with Jitsu. And Clamp Champ had a new head, and he reused the breastplate from Fisto, and he had the salad tongs as his new weapon. So this figure, of course, reuses the head from the previous Clamp Champ figure, but it's got a lot of new parts in it, or at least they're new for me. I haven't seen a lot of these. So you can see they've got this kind of silver armor over them, this kind of silver harness with these studs on it. And while it is reminiscent of that original Clamp Champ armor that, of course, was reused from Fisto, especially over this unique torso, which I've never seen before. This is a new torso for me. Combined together, it kind of vaguely resembles the original Clamp Champ armor, but it's also different enough and unique enough that that it stands on its own. I'm going to take the figure apart. I'm going to take this armor off of the chest because I really want to see this new torso, which I haven't seen before. You can see it's like a scaly torso, looking kind of like fish scales or snake scales, probably more appropriately, or chainmail. So that's really cool. I really like that that he's got this this kind of chainmail shirt. I think that's pretty cool. Let's go ahead and put the armor back on him. Bobby Wald is here and says, "Oh no, watch out, April O'Neil. Clamp Champ has a set of pinchers." I believe that's pincers is what that is. And he does have this skirt piece, loincloth piece. That's pretty cool. And then you can see he's got the scaly tights, I guess, leggings, whatever you want to call them. So he's got like a whole chainmail bodysuit, basically, with the typical He-Man furry shorts over it. Looks like new boots to me, or at least boots I haven't seen before. But you can see they're a little more armored. They're not like your typical, furry He-Man boots like the original Clamp Champ came with. So Clamp Champ finally has its own unique costume. And honestly, like if it weren't for like the turtle shell detailing to it and the green as the highlight color, if this stuff was red instead of green, I think that this would be a perfect costume for Clamp Champ. I think that would be my default for this guy going forward. I would be really happy to have him with a brand new costume. So let's have a look at those pincers. Now, the original Clamp Champ, and I make reference to this a lot on the show because it was something I thought was really funny at the time, was, he had that funky clamp weapon that was like these two little things that were supposed to clamp around the bad guys. And it never seemed too formidable to me. And I always remember what somebody had said in a message board like 20 years ago. This is how this stands out in my brain. I don't even remember what message board it was, but some message board where we were talking about Clamp Champ. And the guy commented, "They gave the brother salad tongs." So to this day, I still think of that weapon as being Clamp Champ's salad tongs. But this is a bit more formidable with this big pincer. And this would be a cool weapon for Clawful also, if you want to do like a bionic Clawful. Again, that would have been nice if they made this in red, but it's kind of obvious why they made it in green, because this was kind of like a snapping turtle head. And it also, to me, brings to mind the Mausers. Like maybe he got a hold of some Mauser technology, some of Baxter Stockman's stuff, and reversed engineered it. And hey, in the original comic book, Baxter Stockman was a black character too. So it's two scientifically minded brothers. Like that's pretty cool. So yeah, Clamp I always thought was a really cool character, and I always felt like they put a lot of effort into writing the character well and making him interesting in a character sense, probably because they knew the figure itself, honestly, wasn't that much to write home about. I mean, you had a really good head sculpt, and you reused Fisto's armor, and he had a really lame weapon. I'm sorry, it's just true. And his name wasn't even that great. It was Clamp Champ. I mean, like to me, that just sounds kind of corny. So, but they called him something different in Europe. I'm going to look that up right now. I don't remember exactly what that was in Trapdoor or something like that. And Clamp Champ isn't even like the sort of name that you can like shorten very easily. You call him CC or something like that. But it's not. Spider-Man, you can call him Spidey. Captain America, you can call him Cap. What do you call Clamp Champ for short? Clampy? I don't know. See, like, I'm trying to Google it, and I've put Motu Clamp, and I've gotten to CH, and it still hasn't suggested Clamp Champ. This guy's too obscure. It suggests Clamp Champion before Clamp Champ. What the heck is Clamp Champion? I have no idea. Let's see. So I'm wanting to figure out what his name was in the European release, because he had a way cooler name. I don't remember what it was right now. I meant to look that up before, so I would just have the information at hand, but I guess I forgot. Oh well. But it was like in Trapdrawer or something. I don't know, like something that sounded kind of cool, and I thought that was a cool name. Clamp Champ is a weird name. It's so and Clamp Champ. Kind of the sad thing about the figure for me is that like we were way overdue getting a black guy, any kind of black character in Masters of the Universe. And I'm not trying to cast any accusations at the people making the toy line. Personally, I think they were just kind of more concentrating on making like cool monster characters. But as far as like the humans in the line go, there wasn't really a whole lot of ethnic diversity. You know, like most of them were white guys, and the two Asian guys they had were both bad guys. I mean, that's how it was in the original line. And Clamp Champ finally in the last wave, we finally get a black character, and he's just one that like his weapons aren't too impressive, unfortunately. And I see a lot of the times when people make customs, a lot of the times they'll take a Clamp Champ figure and just give him some new weapons and new armor and make a new figure out of it. And man, this thing is kind of difficult to get in his hand. It's a cool looking weapon, but the way it's designed. Okay, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to turn his hand around completely backwards. And I think that will be easier to grasp this thing. And his hand won't be too visible when it's inside of the clamp. So I'm thinking that'll be the best way to put this clamp on his hand. And if I had tiny little kid fingers, I could probably fit them into this little space and get it to grip a lot better. But yeah, there he is holding the clamp. But you see, like I said, I kind of cheated. I got him holding it kind of underhanded like that. But you can't really see it that well in that regard. So, but yeah, if they'd made this in red again instead of green, this would be just like a great. If you swapped out all the red on this figure for green, and I might buy a second one so I can do this, just make a red version of this. That would, to me, be the best Clamp Champ figure ever made. That would be really cool. This will be a lot more like what I would have wanted Clamp Champ to be back in the day. So yeah. Let's go ahead and talk about his articulation some. So after going through all that effort to put that clamp into his hand, now I'm taking it off so we can talk about articulation. And by the way, this piece of armor always wants to slide down. They never can get the forearm armor to stay on correctly, can they? So let's have a look at his articulation. Clamp Champ can look up about that far, look down about that far, tilt his head kind of from side to side, rotate the head all the way around. Of course, the arms rotate all the way around at the shoulder, but it's at a little bit of an angle because it's like an old school Masters Universe. Arms raise up to the side about that far. He's got a single joint of articulation at the elbow, which bends in about that far, and then that rotates all the way around. His wrists rotate all the way around, and they have a horizontal hinge on them that move back and forth. Clamp Champ can kick up about that far, which is not too far. He's kind of muscle bound. That's how these figures are. You know, you can do the splits no problem. Even his loincloth piece doesn't seem to get in the way too much of that, so that's good. Oh, by the way, forgot to mention, he rotates all the way around at the waist. He's got a single joint of articulation at the knee, which is really stuck on mine, and I didn't even realize it until the last second. That's really stiff. I don't even know if I'm going to be able to get that to move. I was actually bending the joint rather than getting his knee to move. Man, that is like super, super stiff. It's stuck really good. So I'm going to have to hit this guy with a hairdryer later. He is not wanting to cooperate as far as that goes. But that joint does also rotate all the way around. I should point that out. He's got a boot cut, so the boot rotates all the way around. Foot can point down about that far. See, foot can point up about that far, and then the foot rotates all the way around. So yeah, it's kind of disappointing that his knees are fused like that. Like they are just stuck really, really rigidly, and I'm not going to be able to get them to move right now, so I'm not going to. And these are this. We have seen the armor on his arm and on his leg before. That came with Stealth Ninja He-Man, but I don't mind its reuse here. It works pretty well. And in fact, I think this is probably staying on him a little better because of the way his boot is put together. So, but also these pieces of armor kind of remind me a little bit of Man-at-Arms and how he has his, armor on one side of his body. And in the Masters Universe Classics continuity, Clamp Champ winds up taking over the role of Man-at-Arms when Duncan, unfortunately, is turned into a snake man forever, and then Clamp Champ has to kill him. I didn't really like that aspect of the storyline because to me it kind of cast a pall on Clamp Champ, unfortunately. And I don't really blame him. He was put in that situation, but I'm sure he felt terrible about it, is what I'm trying to say. So, and I didn't like that Man-at-Arms will not like that either. He deserved a hero's death since he was a hero. I don't like that he died as a snake man. I hate that. But anyway, Clamp Champ is a really cool figure, and especially if you don't already have the previous Origins Clamp Champ, this is probably a character that you should have in your collection somewhere. And if you don't have the Origins one, definitely pick this one up because he's really cool. And you can find him for a good price on Amazon right now. Like I said, I found this one at Ross a little before Christmas for like $13. And that's a pretty good price for a Masters Universe Origins. That's definitely cheaper than retail. I found him and I found Ninjor. So Ninjor will be the next episode. So make sure you don't miss that. Make sure that you like and subscribe and all the fun YouTube stuff down below. Leave a comment and let me know what you think about Clamp Champ, both the figure and the character in general. And let me know whether you agree or disagree with me that this is an improvement, definitely over the original costume that this character had. I just think it looks really cool, and like I said, I think it would look even cooler and even more like what I think of Clamp Champ should look like if I replace this green with red. So I might just do that. We might see about doing that. But yeah, do make sure you like and subscribe. YouTube likes it when I say like and subscribe, so I like to say like and subscribe. Leave a comment and let me know what you think, because I like reading comments. Go and pop that hand back on there. I do think that this probably could have been designed a little better in so far as making it easier for the figure to get a hold of this thing. Maybe instead of putting a handle inside of here, they could have just made it so you just pop the whole thing over his hand. I think that might have been a better way to do that. But I'm just kind of armchair quarterbacking the whole thing. Yeah, there we go. All right. So that's it for this episode. Next episode is going to be Turtles of Grayskull Ninja War. And then we've still got a few more Turtles of Grayskull figures to go through. I finally got Slacker, who is the combination of Slash and Faker, and Mouse Jaw, who's the combination of the Mousers and Trap Jaw. So we're going to open those up. And then the big one, which is the Skele-Shredder, Shredditor, whatever they call them. Anyway, that's it for this episode. Hope you enjoyed it. We will talk to you next time. Bye.